everyone. I hope you're having an amazing start to 2025, but what better way to put 2024 to bed than by doing my December monthly wrap. Welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Let's go! Yes, hello and welcome back to the Mr. Francy channel, formerly known as Mr. Francy Reads. I will fix that up at some stage. How are you all doing? I hope you're all having an amazing start to your 2025 year. Got any good goals in place? Reading any good books? Let me know in the comments section below. But of course, as I said, today is the day when I officially wrap up everything for 2024 by doing my monthly wrap. We're going to start as per usual, putting my stats up on the screen. Before I do, I just want to say I don't put up stats for any sort of pressure. I don't do my stats for any sort of pressure either. I literally have them there as something fun to look at. So we're going to put the stats up on the screen in 3, 2, 1, go. For the month of December, I read a total of 7 books comprising of 2 cozy mysteries, 2 fantasies, 2 memoirs, and a mystery. To my age groups, I read 1 YA and 6 adult books. To my lengths, I read 1 double tome, that took up a lot of my time, 1 3/4 tome, 1 half tome, and 2 novellas, totaling 3,058 pages. To my star ratings, I had 4 5 stars, 2 4 stars, 1 3 star, and 1 DNF. Alright, before we get into all the lovely books as well as their premises and mini reviews, I am going to hold myself accountable to a goal I wanted to start in 2025, and that is once I've shown you a book and move on to the next one, I'll put the former one up on the shelves so that you can see them. So I want to hold myself accountable, so I'm saying it at the beginning of the video. The first book I'm going to discuss with you all is a book that I sadly DNF'd. I made it 150 pages in before very unfortunately putting it down, and that was this book, Shiver, by Ali Reynolds. I keep thinking Ali Condi every time I go to mention the author's name of this book, which is really sad because Ali Condi wrote a dystopian series that I thought was okay, but yeah, she's not the author of this book. Anyway, this is an adult mystery book, and yeah, as I say, I DNF'd this book. So the basic premise of this book is that we follow that's it, Miller. We follow Miller, and I'm not good with character names, in case you didn't know. Welcome to the channel. I'm very transparent. I don't remember character names. We follow Miller in this book, and basically she is invited to go and stay with her friends for some sort of a friend reunion at this cabin, and someone has been murdered, and we're trying to figure out who murdered them and what's going on. It's a dual perspective. We deal with a dual perspective in timeline of then and now, and honestly the first 100 or so pages I found to be incredibly intriguing. I was racing alongside Miller trying to work out the mystery. I was buddy reading this with my dear friend Jane over on the Discord. Thank you, Jane, for the wonderful recommendation, and also thank you for letting me out of the buddy read. You're too kind. Jane did finish the book, but I think like me she was a bit disappointed as well. Yeah, but the first 100 pages were incredibly intriguing, as I said, but then once I got to between page 100 and page 150, it just felt way too much like filler, and honestly it really let me down given how amazing the first 100 pages were, and I'm no longer going to live with regrets. There are so many books that are published each and every single year. I don't have time to keep reading a book that I'm just not enjoying, so that's why I DNF'd it. Fortunately, Jane was able to reveal the ending for me because I needed to know all the answers, so thank you, Jane. And yeah, I think it would have been a very satisfying end for me to read, but yeah, it just wasn't worth my continuing on. So I'm going to do the rest of my monthly wrap in star rating order, starting with my lowest ratings, working all the way up to my highest. That is another goal that I had for 2025. So the next book I'm going to show you is not the next book that I read, but it is the lowest book that I rated for the month of December. and that was this book, Bonfires, Backpacks and Brawls by Tonya Kappas. This is book number 36 in the Camper and Criminals, is that right? Yes it is, Camper and Criminals series, and it is an adult cozy mystery. So just quickly going off of the back, Bonfires, Backpacks and Brawls, the latest page turner and a blah 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 blah. When the peaceful plunk of fishing lures at Happy Trails campgrounds is replaced by the startling bang of gunshots, Mae West and Laundry Club ladies gear up for their most adventurous case yet in the heart of Daniel Boone National Forest. Imagine stumbling upon a body in the woods, only it's not hunting season, and this isn't a deer we're talking about. This twist sends Mae and her gang on a trek through a forest thick with secrets where every turn in the trail could be the clue they need or a dead end. So to my thoughts on this one, and I'm not a fan of fishing, and fishing seemed to take up quite a bit of the cozy side of this book, so yeah, it let me down personally, but of course, you know, as readers we're not a monolith, so you may enjoy that section if you read this book, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. However, at some point Mae and her mother end up joining this knitting group, and I absolutely loved that, so that helped to boost the rating. I enjoyed the mystery side of the book, but did not like the reveal or appreciate the reveal, so it was very much an up and down. Here's a pro, here's a con, here's a pro, here's a con, and so I split the diff and gave it 3 stars. So now we're going to enter into 4-star territory, and so my first book that I gave 4 stars to was the next book in that same series, Fireworks, Freedom and Felonies by Tonya Kappas, again an adult cozy mystery, and book number 37 in the series. I think there's like 39 or 40 that have come out at the moment. Anyway, so I have not put the book up. I'm so used to not doing this that it's just, yeah, not a habit, but I stopped myself and I'm glad. There you go, they're up there now, and let's keep going. Alright, so in case you don't know, the basic premise of this series as a whole is that we follow Mae West, who has inherited a very rundown campground, and her goal was to turn the campground around. By this point in the series, she has. That's not a spoiler, she does that very, very early on in the series. She has turned it around, and that's fantastic. She also has a wonderful, bunch of friends called the Laundry Ladies who get together, and as amateur sleuths they come together to solve mysteries. The series, all in all, I have pros, I have cons, but with this particular book in general, Mae stumbles upon a murder victim, and this ends up being a lady who was a knitting enthusiast, and she was killed with one of her own knitting needles. So of all the ironies that could occur, I mean, like, I laugh because it's fiction. If it happened in real life, oh my goodness. But because it's fiction, it's like, wow, of all the ways to go. To my thoughts, and I honestly enjoyed the mystery of this one. I thought it was much better than the last one, than this one. And that was saying something because I enjoyed that one. And honestly felt like this was one of Kappas's best in the series, in my opinion. I love Dottie Swaggart, who is Mae West's employee at the campground. She had been there longer than Mae, but Mae obviously inherited the ground, so she's the owner, and Dottie Swaggart is her employee. I love Dottie. Dottie is just so herself. She doesn't care what anyone thinks of her. She's an individual, and gosh, I love her for it. So I really enjoyed my time with Dottie, and as I said, I absolutely loved the mystery. 4 stars for this one. My next 4-star was an absolute chunker. It is definitely a tome and a half, but much closer to being a it was a double tome, I'm sorry, but it's much closer to being a triple tome, and that was the absolute chunker that we call Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This is book number 4 in the Stormlight Archive series, and has a page count of 1,230 pages, and the book is incredibly tall, so it takes forever and a day to get through. Really, I don't want to say anything about this book in premise form, because anything I say is going to be a spoiler for the series, and also the book is so incredibly long and so incredibly multi-perspective layered that, and the world is so vast that it is going to be really tough to give you a premise anyway, even if I didn't mind spoiling. It just, yeah, I really didn't enjoy how long it was, really didn't enjoy the main perspectives in this one. I will say, however, that one of the main perspectives was Navani, and I've grown to love Navani over the course of time, so, you know, that was something that was really, really interesting, and At some point, I won't say what happened at all, but at some point, Navani was placed into a precarious situation, and it was really interesting to see how she dealt with being placed in that situation. All in all, it was a 4-star read for me, and give me 12 more months till I read the next one, but it was good, just yeah, length and perspective issues. Okay, welcome to 5-Star Station. We're now going to move in and talk about the 5-star reads, the ultimate best reads that I had. And first up, we have Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3.5 in the Stormlight Archive series, so you read this one prior to Rhythm of War, but it did receive a higher rating. And definitely one of the reasons for that is because of the fact that it is shorter. There is a massive difference between a 1,230 page book versus one that is 293 pages. So, yeah, but this was absolutely fantastic. So with Sanderson's novellas in his Stormlight Archives, he takes an opportunity to shine some perspectives onto those who don't get any or get next to no coverage at all in the main books. So in this one we follow Cord and Risen, so it was lovely to have the light shone on them in this novella. There were some quotes that I actually took away from this book, so I'm going to read them out to you. The first one is from Risen, who says, "That is a shallow way of looking at it, Nikhil. You can support me without denigrating others." I really, really appreciated that line because it's very true. Sometimes people think that they need to denigrate or degrade others to show support, and you don't need to. Anyway, this guy responded saying that it was small of him, and then Risen turned around and said, "No, just human of you." And I thought that was a really nice response as well. Also, Cord had this wonderful quote. Cord is speaking English as a second language. I'm going to directly quote what Cord is saying. Cord says, "I was scared of places, not home. And now I find things that make scared are also things that make interesting." I love that. Yeah, so translating it into perfect English, she's basically saying that she used to be scared of anything away from her homeland, but now she's learned the lesson that anything that makes her scared can also potentially be something interesting. And I just thought that was a really, really good line. You know, not only does Sanderson write amazing worlds, but he has these amazing one-liners that he comes up with as well. An overwhelming 5 stars from me. My next 5-star book was a memoir, the first of 2 memoirs I read in the month of December. I don't read non-fiction, I make no qualms about that, but if I'm going to, it will be a memoir because I do enjoy reading those. And the first memoir that I read was this one, The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. An overwhelming 5 stars for this book. Yeah, so I will point something out very early on for those of you who are considering picking up this book. I've recommended it to some people and some people were let down, so I'll explain why. Some people do think that going into this book you're going to get nothing but Kelly Bishop recalling what happened in Gilmore Girls. This is absolutely not the case. At most, Kelly Bishop discusses Gilmore Girls in 2 chapters and that's all. But the reason for this does make sense. It is a memoir of Kelly Bishop's life, and when you factor in how long her life has been and how much time she spent on Gilmore Girls, it was a fraction of her entire life. I really, really enjoyed this book. Kelly grew up as a theatre major. She loved dancing and acting, did not love singing, but did some singing while on the stage. But yeah, she made no qualms about that. So, you know, when one director said to her, "You're going to sing here," she said, "You have heard me sing, right?" And the director said, yeah, "I've heard you sing, but we still want you to sing here." And yeah, it was fantastic. She was in such amazing things like a chorus line, which is fantastic. She was also a Rockette back in the day. I didn't know much about the Rockettes, so had to do some research on them. But yeah, that is absolutely fantastic as well. Gained a ton of experience, and for a woman back in those days, it wasn't so easy. You know, obviously there were some inequalities between men and women, but the way that Kelly Bishop went about fighting, if you will want to use that word, for her equality, I found to be really fascinating because it wasn't really seen by women at that time. But Kelly had an amazing upbringing and knew how to stand up for herself very early on in life, and I really did appreciate that. And if you are a fan of Gilmore Girls, the foreword of this book is written by Gilmore Girls writer Amy Sherman Palladino, the guy that played Richard in the show, who Ed Herman, who unfortunately has passed away. She spoke not only fondly of him as a person, but also brought up an amazing memory that the pair had together. And I'll just say the words so that I remember when I watch this back. I will just say the words, "We are theatre people." If you've read the book, you know what I mean. An overwhelming 5 stars. Like my second memoir, also obviously receiving 5 stars, was Bits and Pieces, My Mother, My Brother and Me by Whoopi Goldberg. I had never read a memoir, autobiography, anything like that by Whoopi before, but I had seen Whoopi in many different things. Highlights of The View, I had not seen any full episode of The View, but on YouTube I'd seen some highlights of The View here and there, and I know that she is not afraid to stand up for her own beliefs and opinions. I loved watching her in Sister Act 1 and 2, and Karina I've seen as well, and I just love her as a person and an actress in general, and wanted to learn more. Yeah, it is very important that you understand the title of this book is not Bits and Pieces, but Bits and Pieces, My Mother, My Brother and Me. And the reason for this is because this is not a memoir of Whoopi Goldberg's life. This is a memoir of Whoopi Goldberg retelling stories about her mother and her brother and how she relates to that. So if you're looking for Whoopi's memoir, it is a different book. I did some research and I don't remember the title, but she has released another one that talks about her life in specific detail. Despite this, I really enjoyed the book. I came close to DNFing thinking this is not what I wanted, but I kept going, and I'm glad I did. I did not stop laughing throughout the course of this book. Whoopi just has this way of making me laugh. I listened to both this and this on audiobook. Kelly narrates her own book. Whoopi narrates her own book. And in Whoopi's narration of this book, she laughs herself, which I love. It just shows how individual she is of a person. She's less concerned with saying the words on the page and more concerned with just having a good time. And I couldn't help but laugh along with her, but it wasn't laughing because of the infectiousness of her own laughter. It was laughter because of what she was saying. The stories that Whoopi has, there are some serious ones and that are darker in tone, yeah, for sure, but the majority of the ones she has are just hilarious, and the way that she presents stories, I need to see more of Whoopi's stand-up comedy. If you have any great links on YouTube to Whoopi's stand-up comedy shows, please link them below, because my goodness, it's not just the humor in the stories, but also the way she presents them. To me, Whoopi has always come across as this person with a very calm demeanor. Unless she's talking about something she's very passionate about, she's very calm. And the way she narrated this book very much reminded me of Sister Mary Clarence, and the way that she is very calm when she speaks to the nuns. She can still be passionate, and she still has amazing things she says, even in those movies, but she says it in a very calm, approachable way, and I really appreciated that. This was fantastic, and I'm definitely reading more Whoopi in 2025. 5 stars. The final book that I read was also coincidentally a 5-star read, and I'll tell you what, I read this book, then this book, then the final one. So it was a fantastic way to end my month of December. And that was this book, Ace of Spades by, oh goodness, I actually wrote down a phonetic way of saying her name. So here we go. It is Farida Ebk Ayamide. Woo! And this is why I was struggling saying this with my TBR video, but anyway, for December. But anyway, this is a YA mystery, and oh my goodness, the number one word that I kept saying while reading this book was the word whoa. Seriously, every chapter multiple times. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. Okay. This is categorized as a YA mystery, but I am going to tell you that I call it a YA extremely hard-hitting contemporary mystery. And there's reasons for that. So we follow two different characters in this book. Chiamaka, who is referred to as Chi, and Devon or Devon, either way, who's referred to as D. And Chi and D go to an academy, a private academy school, and they are the only two black students there. I'm saying it that way because that's how it's written in the book. We are the only two black people at this school. So I hope I'm not offending saying it that way. I'm just describing it the way Farida does. So yeah, they're the only two black people at that school, and but honestly, everything has been fine. In fact, Chi is the single most popular person at the entire school, and D is basically invisible according to him. No one even sees him, so it's fine. They just do what they're doing, and everything's fine. On their first day back for their at the academy for their final year, Chi is unsurprisingly named head girl, head person, whatever, for the school, and which is no surprise to anyone. But D is announced vice head person, which surprises everyone, most of all D. So, interesting. We then follow them going throughout their day-to-day lives and, find out different things about them. But then all of a sudden, a text message is blasted to everyone at the school except for D, but it is a secret about D. And this text message is sent via an unknown antagonist known as Aces. If you love Pretty Little Liars or Gossip Girl or both, you will love this book, because not too much later, this Aces person also ends up sending out a text message regarding Chi. And there's a lot that goes on with the text messages side and the secrets that are coming out. Not only with the secrets coming out, but also we learn, as I say, a lot about Chi's life as well as D's life, and what we learn through the text messages and outside of the text messages are very hard-hitting. So please know that going in. That's why I was saying whoa every single chapter, because yes, I was doing the whole whoa when I got a reveal, or whoa when we may have stumbled across some sort of clue, but I was also going whoa every time we came up with into some sort of hard-hitting contemporary topics. So please don't go in thinking this is a light-hearted mystery, because it is absolutely not. In saying that, Farida EBK Ayamide, I need to read more of your works. This was absolutely fantastic. The mystery is so enthralling. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I read this over the course of 3 days, and both nights when I went to bed, my first thought was, let's go through all my suspects. Who do I think it's going to be? And which is what you want for a mystery. And the hard-hitting contemporary sides were extremely hard-hitting, which is fantastic because it challenges me with things I may not have experienced, or, may have experienced, but either way, it was done in a really hard-hitting way that tugged at my emotions in a big way. I appreciated both sides. There is nothing at all that I can say as a con or a put down about this book. It was just fantastic. If you have been looking to scratch the itch that has been left since Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars were done, you need this book. This book scratches that itch. It is so good. I remember having sleepless nights thinking, who the heck is A? And I had almost sleepless nights thinking, who the heck is Aces? So it is so good. Highly recommend. And now for everyone's favourite game that we like to call Up, including this. These are all the books that I read in the month of December, and ultimately it was a fantastic reading month for me. How was the reading month of December for you? Let me know in the comments section below. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to a whole brand new year on the Mr. Francy channel. I cannot wait to explore more with you about books. If you have not already, please do check out my TBR video, because I also include what I am posting video-wise at the beginning of that one, so I'll leave you to check that out there. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. I'm letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy, woo, all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone!